get into it. Today, I'm just going to show you how I achieve this natural beat with a little bit pop underneath the eyes. So my model, I start off by cleansing her face. I use some astringent on her face. And then I just always go back and moisturize the skin because that astringent is going to pull the majority of the oil off your skin. And I do that just to make sure there's no makeup or oils on the skin. And I think that is the Pond's face cream that I use. So here she has some extra hair on her brow, so I'm just gonna go ahead and take my razor and clean that off. That razor you can find at any local beauty supply. It has a guard on it, so it's safe, it's not gonna cut you, but always be careful with it. Brown brow shadow powder that I have had forever. I don't even know the name of it, but I use that sometimes as a quick fix to fill the brows in, and I just take my angle brush and just put it across the brow. There's no rhyme or reason to it. I just go ahead and fill that brow in and I clean it up afterwards. I just worry about it later. I take my L'Oreal brow stylist and I do some small hair-like strokes in the brow just to make it a little bit more natural. Always go back over the brow with a spoolie and brush the brow a little bit. That is the Juvia'S concealer in number 14, and I use my angle brush to shape the brows. Always start, it depends. I either start in the middle or I start at the beginning of the brow, and you shape them to, your satisfaction. There's no right or wrong. As long as they look cohesive together, do the best you can with your brows. Just try to get them as similar as possible. That is the NYX brow gel. I don't remember the name of it. I usually put that on top of the brows after I fill them in. You can either do it in the beginning before you fill the brows in or afterwards. I think it's better to, for me, it's better to do it after I fill it in. Then I just take my razor again and go over her lip. We have hair on our face, ladies. Don't be afraid to take that hair off your face. It helps your foundation to lay better on the skin when the hair is removed. Like I said, it's preference, but if you sit in my chair, I'm taking that hair off your face. Sorry, not sorry. That is the MAC primer, the strobe cream. I take that and I apply it on the skin, and then I take my flat foundation brush and press that into the skin. And I think I took some NYX concealer and just mixed it up and applied it across her lip with my finger. Sometimes when you use your finger, it helps to warm that product up. That is the NARS foundation and Hyena and the Lancome Ultra Wear 450. I mixed them together. I normally always mix my foundation together. And I take my Morphe foundation brush. I forget the number of that, but that is a Morphe foundation brush, and press that into the skin. Make sure that you're working that foundation all across the face. You want to get on top of the forehead. You want to press that back towards the ears, and you want to go underneath the jawline. You don't just want to do the the perimeters of your face. I take my flat brush and I go on top of the brows with whatever I have left of the foundation on the brush, and I go ahead and shape the top of the brows, and then I press that product in so that it blends into the skin seamlessly. You don't want to just leave it. Make sure that you are blending it in. Right here I am concealing underneath the eyes with Juvia'S Place concealer in number 14. I always try to go in the outer corners of the eye and do like a lifting effect in the corners of the eye. But you want to always put your concealer down the sides of your nose, underneath your eye, on top, in between your brows, and you want to go down the center of your nose. So to contour the face, I'm using the Juvia'S Place foundation stick and Garnier. So I take that straight from the applicator onto the brush and press that on her cheeks, jawline, and forehead. And then I start to blend out that concealer with my fluffy brush. I'll start at the bottom and then work my way up towards the eye, pressing that into the sides of the nose. You don't want to forget the sides of the nose. You want to make sure that that concealer is going into the skin completely. The trick to keeping your eyes from creasing is when you are blending that concealer in, that you're looking up. That kind of straightens up the skin underneath your eyes. So if you don't want your eyes to crease, always kind of look up as you're pressing that into the skin. Now I'm taking my blush brush and I'm setting that cream contour into the skin. You don't want to just apply it and leave it. You want to make sure that it's thoroughly blended in, just to give it a smoother appearance. So just use lightly pressing motions into the skin and drag that underneath your jawline with that. So here I'm taking that same foundation stick and I took a eye makeup brush and I'm gonna drag that down the sides of my nose just to give her a soft contour of the nose. I don't want to go too harsh on that. So you really want to kind of start at the top of your brows and trace that down the sides of your nose. I always shape like the bulb of the nose and the sides of the nostrils. So to set underneath the eyes, I took the Fenty banana powder and I put that on my sponge, and you want to press that into your skin because that's going to set your concealer. Depending on your skin type, if you're dry underneath your eyes, I would skip this part. You don't want to add powder to your eyes if your skin is dry because it's going to crease horribly. But I set underneath her eyes. Then I took the remainder of that. I took a little bit more of that Fenty banana powder and I set her entire face. I took a big fluffy brush and just pressed that into the skin. You want to do that before you bronze the skin. And I took whatever product I had left on that sponge and I went on the sides of her jawline just to sharpen up the cheeks a little bit. But then I added a little bit more powder. You want to do that to highlight your jawline, to really make your cheeks pop. That's the purpose of that powder. And that is my MAC Sculpt Shape palette that I'm using to bronze her skin. So I take my fluffy brush and go ahead and lightly press that into the skin. Like I said, I don't want it to be too hard. So I use the lightest, I think I use the lightest brown in that palette to warm up her cheeks, just to give her face some more color, a little bit of color. And don't forget to go back down the sides of the nose with that contour powder, that shading powder. I went on ahead and set down the bridge of her nose with that banana powder. And then this I'm setting underneath her eyes. This is the process I do before I start on the eyes, just to catch any fallout from the shadow that I'm going to use. Like I said, if your eyes are dry, go lower underneath your eyes. Don't set that directly underneath your eye. That is, again, I took some concealer and set her lid. I do that before I put the eyeshadow on, just so the eyeshadow will have something to stick to. And make sure that you completely work that in and smooth it out. You can either use a brush, you can use a sponge, you can use your finger. Just make sure that it is completely smooth into your skin. I'm using the Juvia'S Nudes palette, and I'm taking that brown shade, and I usually start to press the eyeshadow into the shape of the eye. Instead of doing windshield wiper motions, I just try to go along the natural shape of the eye with the eyeshadow. I think it makes it look a little bit more natural that way. And I just gradually build that shade up. So as you can see, I start to darken up the crease of her eye. I think I took a dark brown shade out of the ColourPop Times Shayla palette. I had that for a while. So I just take a small shadow brush and I kind of go along the crease of the eye just to darken it up and bring it down the sides of the eye. It's like the middle and outer part of the eye that I try to darken up just a little bit. always try to go back on top of the shadow with a fluffy brush. Either have no product on it or just very little product, and try to blend those edges out. And I usually go from like the corners of the eye all the way out. I took a fluffy brush and I started to add that shimmer color from the Nudes palette. This is a dry brush and I just packed that on the lid. If you want to intensify the color, you can either spray your brush with a little bit of setting spray, or you can use like a glitter glue if you want to really pop that shimmer out. But I wanted to keep it soft, so that is a dry brush. It's a flat brush, and I just kind of pack that in and kind of drag that along the eyelid. Forth with your shadows, because as you're adding colors to it and shimmer, sometimes you kind of lose your lines and you just want to add a little bit more of that dark brown. Make sure that you sweep that powder off the jawline. You don't want to leave it. Take a fluffy brush and just press that into the skin, or small swiping motions. I took a NYX eyeliner in Espresso and I outlined her lash line. I just wanted to have like a bit of a smoky effect. I didn't want it to be too hard, so I'm just gonna take a small brush and smoke that out. I didn't want to do a wing liner. So as you can see, I'm taking that to the outer corners of her eye, and my stick broke. So take that out to the outer corners of the eye and then just go back over it with a fluffy brush. I added her lashes off camera. And here I just took my green eyeliner. I think that's just the eyeliner I got from the beauty supply, and I put that in her waterline. She wanted some green under her eye. I think it came out nice. Then I took a small pencil brush and I went into the Masquerade palette, and I used the color Molly, which is a pretty shimmer green, and I just smoked out her bottom waterline with that, and that's gonna set that eyeliner and make that eye pop. Then I went on ahead and took my fluffy brush, and I removed all that powder from underneath her eye. I didn't have much fallout. That palette is pretty good. I didn't have any fallout with it. And then I took that peachy color out of that MAC Sculpt palette, and I went across her cheeks just to give her a little warmth to her face. That is the Benefit Give Me Brow. And that is just going to give your brow a little bit more of a fuller appearance, and that's also going to help set your brows into place. So here I took my NYX lip liner in Espresso and outlined her lips. She wanted a nude lip, and you're gonna see the lip gloss that I'm using. I think it's from ColourPop. I also put a nude lipstick on her, but I can't remember what color it is. That's a nude lipstick. I can't remember which one I used. But the lip gloss I'm using is called Wham. It's like a shimmery, it's a gold, kind of shimmery gold lip gloss. And I applied some more gold shimmer in the corners of her eye. I think that's out of the Nudes palette. I might have grabbed it out of that Shayla ColourPop. I think that's from the Shayla ColourPop palette. And then I set the entire face with the MAC Studio Fix spray. Actually, no, it's not. That's the Morphe Luminous spray. That's not MAC. Sorry. Checking to see if I like it, and I do. And thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed.